All right, so one of the things that we need to know before we talk too much more about stars is what exactly is a star? Now, we should have good knowledge of that from the sun already in our discussions and knowledge gained there. But very simply, a star is this. It is a glowing ball of gas that is held together by gravity, and it has enough temperature and enough pressure inside of it to cause atoms to fuse. So it generates energy through a process called fusion. And essentially what's happening in this is that you've got lighter elements, and most stars will start with the element hydrogen, and it takes two hydrogens and smashes them together, and this produces a heavier element, helium. So we start with hydrogen into helium, and it also gives off energy. Enough energy is emitted from the sun every single second to power the entire United States for 13 billion years. But what happens then is it runs out of hydrogen. And when it runs out of hydrogen, now it takes helium and it converts helium into carbon and oxygen. And it will eventually run out of helium, and then it will convert carbon and oxygen into silicon. And it will move on and on and on until it gets to iron. And when it gets to iron, that element is too massive for a star to fuse together. And so fusion stops. And at this point, depending on what star, what size, mass of star you're dealing with, will determine what happens to it. Will it explode? Will it implode? Will it puff away its outer gases? But it all stops at iron. And what's interesting then is if stars were the first thing that formed in our universe, then all of the elements that we have today came from stars. What you're made of, what I'm made of, what the food is made of, what your pencil is made of, all was originally created within stars. Now, the nearest star to us is called Proxima Centauri, and it's 4.2 light years away, which means it takes light from that star over 4 years to get to us. Now, the farthest ones are billions of light years away. That's ridiculously far away in our solar system. Excuse me, galaxy. No, the universe. How do we learn about stars? We learn a lot of different things about stars, and again, this comes just from their light. We can determine distance using a process called parallax. And also we use standard candles, which are things that we know the brightness of, and if something's next to it, we know how bright it should be and how far away it is. We learn about their composition from their spectra, their temperature based on their color, and their size. If they're close enough, we can measure them directly, and if not, again, we use brightness to determine that.